Breaking, the Texas House Democrats are breaking quorum. If you're wondering what the Texas GOP Republicans can do, my colleague Brent Money, that's a pretty cool name, Brent Money, posted our options last week. Here are the highlights. Enforcement authority. Our sergeant at arms and the Department of Public Safety have the legal authority to locate and retrieve absent members within Texas borders. This is not theoretical. It was used in 2003 and again in 2021. Imagine if Texas state troopers were kicking in doors in Illinois, tasing Texas Democrats, House members, throwing a big net over them, a spit hood. That would be so awesome. Oh my God. I hope they're wearing body-worn cameras when they do that. Penalties for absence. Members absent without leave can face fines of $500 per day. Now, presumably, billionaire Governor Pritzker of Illinois, who is a billionaire, would pay those fines for them. The question then becomes, does that qualify as a bribe? Because a bribe would be a felony offense, a criminal offense. Responsibility for retrieval costs, so I guess they'd have to pay for the taser cartridges. Operating budget reductions, reprimand, censure, even expulsion. Oh, you don't hear the ka-ching? Can you guys hear it if I press it? I just did it twice there. Let me know if you heard it or not in the comments. Let's see. All right. Escalation option. Oh, you don't hear it. I hear it. All right. I'll try to fix that. Escalation option. Should members flee the state for an extended period, the governor has a constitutional authority to declare their seats vacant under the Texas election code. This is the firing option. This would lower the quorum threshold and allow the House to act. Let's see what this guy has to say here. James Tallarico, he's I guess a Republican.
This is state.
Let's see what he has to say about his colleagues fleeing the state.
This is State Representative James Tallarico from Texas. If you're seeing this video, my Democratic colleagues and I have just left our beloved state to break quorum and stop Trump's redistricting power grab. Trump told our Republican colleagues to redraw the political maps here in Texas in the middle of the decade to get him 5 more seats and protect his majority.
Oh, so this guy's another Democrat, I guess.
In Congress. They're turning our districts into crazy shapes to guarantee the outcome they want in the 2026 elections. If this power grab succeeds, they will hang on to power without any accountability from the voters.
It's so funny because, of course, you could say exactly the same thing about the Democrats in Illinois, in Massachusetts, in Maryland, everywhere. They have a majority. California, Washington, Oregon.
But Texas Democrats are fighting back. We're leaving the state.
Is that what fighting back is? What do we call it when one of 2 military forces contesting on the battlefield runs away? Are they fighting back? Or are they conceding the battlefield? Are they conceding the battlefield?
Breaking quorum and preventing Republicans from silencing our voices and rigging the next
silencing the voices of democracy
election. We are not fighting for the Democratic Party. We are fighting for the democratic process and the state.
How is it the democratic process to not show up to your job as a legislature and vote? Of course, just the democratic process does not mean Democrats win every vote. And if you're going to lose the vote, you run away. That's not the Democrat process.
Stakes could not be higher. We have to take a stand.
By the way, doesn't this guy kind of look like the camp counselor you decide to not leave your kid with after all? It's like his hands are a little slippery. All right, so here we have some Republicans. Attorney General Ken Paxton. This is the guy they accuse of being a criminal. The Democrats have brought all kinds of ethical charges against him over the years. Some felony charges against him, and he's been acquitted on every one. It's just lawfare on their part. Ken Paxton, Democrats in the Texas House who try and run away like cowards should be found, arrested, and brought back to the Capitol immediately. We should use every tool at our disposal to hunt down those who think they are above the law and are kneecapping the Texas Democrat process. Let's see. This guy, I already covered that. Texas Dems are breaking quorum again. They've done this in the past, of course, previous years. Never worked then either. Here's the playbook to respond to the Democrats in Texas kneecapping the democratic process in Texas. Arrest any Democrats still in Texas. Lock down the House. Treat the Democrats as hostages. Inflict maximum pain on runaways. Fines, censure, strip committees. Strip committees. They'll crawl back soon. Then we pass the new maps, the redistricting, and drink lib tears on tap. Tony McDonald hints at the Governor Abbott approach. If they stay outside of the state indefinitely, I think there's a good argument that they have abandoned their residency. If so, why not declare the seats vacant? And the response, I like the creative thinking. I don't think the residency angle is viable, but there is Texas constitutional law, the Constitution of Texas, and legal opinion by the Texas Attorney General dating back years, and that was Ken Paxton, who we just saw, still the Texas Attorney General, that would allow the governor to ask a Texas court to issue an order of mandamus declaring the representative vacant from his position and allowing that seat to be replaced by somebody else. We're going to see that in a moment. Here's that constitutional provision. Texas Constitution, Article 3, Section 13 allows Abbott, the governor, after any 20-plus day absence from the state during a legislative session, to vacate the seat. At such time, the member will no longer be a representative, and it's permanent. It's permanent. Well, that's really hard to read, but I'll read it on your behalf. Let's see. From the Texas Constitution, Section 13, vacancy in legislature. When vacancies occur in either house, the governor or the person exercising the power of the governor shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. And should the governor fail to issue a writ of election to fill any such vacancy within 20 days after it occurs, the returning officer of the district in which such vacancy may have happened shall be authorized to order an election for that purpose. The legislature may provide by general law for the filling of a vacancy in the legislature without an election if only one person qualifies and declares the candidacy. Okay, that's just boilerplate stuff. So it's not clear to me the governor has to wait 20 days. Joey Manarino, always a fun follow on X, writes, Texas Democrats are absolutely cooked right now. They decided to flee the state to avoid having to vote. You know, democracy. On the new congressional maps that Governor Abbott has proposed, they escaped to Illinois on jets that may have been paid for in a way that constitutes a bribery charge. Being paid for their official government actions. That's bribery. Not only that, Abbott just issued a letter stating that anyone who misses the vote will be removed from the Texas House under Texas Attorney General Opinion KP 0382. KP, guess what that stands for? Ken Paxton, the current Attorney General. But I believe he issued that opinion years ago. This is the attitude we need to set this country back on the right track, throw them the hell out of office. By the attitude, he means fight, 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 fight to win. A political fist into the teeth of these Democrat progressive fascists who wish to tear America as we know it, as intended by our founders, tear it down and hand it over to billions of third worlders. Because they would rather the Democrats preside over the ashes of America so long as they maintain their political power than to lose their political power and have America remain America. No holds barred, folks. Fight, fight, fight like you mean it. This is why the Republicans are so contemptible. The Democrats do this. The Democrats put their fist in your teeth, metaphorically speaking. Sometimes literally, right? They have their paramilitary troops. They have their Antifa. They have their BLM. They burn down whole city centers. If you try to counter-protest, what do? They violently attack you. If the government sends its law enforcement officers to do their jobs, they violently attack law enforcement. The Democrats know how to fight. They mean it. They bring the heat. What do the rhinos do? They collect their pensions. They collect their perks. They do their insider trading. They get jobs for their family and their friends in the government. They get fat at the trough of taxpayer money. Now, they say the right things. They voice a loyal opposition to the Democrats, but they don't do anything. They don't fight. Remember John McCain? Any of you old enough to remember the debate, John McCain against Obama? We knew what Obama was going to do, fundamentally transform America. What's that mean? Make it better? Make it more socialist? Make it more third world? And he did. Nobody's ever wreaked more damage. No military America's ever fought has wreaked more damage on America than Obama did. That's why I always say, when America has to be defended against enemies, foreign and domestic, I'm not at all worried about the foreign ones. We can handle them handily. It's the domestic enemies that are the greatest threat. And so we saw Obama coming, and the Republicans nominated their candidate against Obama, John McCain, and they had a debate. Did John McCain bring the heat? Did John McCain bring the fight? No. Someone said something. One of the questions in the debate was modestly critical of Obama. And John McCain interrupted and said, no, you can't say that. Barack Obama is a good friend of mine. You think that's how Trump would have handled Barack Obama? We know that's not how Trump would have handled Barack Obama. How do we know? Because Trump attended an annual White House press event at which Obama was a speaker. This was years before Trump had ever even so much as hinted at any interest in running for political office. And while Trump was in the audience, Obama was at that lectern, and he started telling jokes about Trump, humiliating Trump, embarrassing Trump. And Trump didn't say a word. But Trump fought back, didn't he? Trump came down that escalator. Trump won that term to be the 45th president of the United States. And they were horrified. I remember jumping up and down the couch when he beat Hillary. I couldn't believe it. And then, of course, they pulled out all the stops. They came out with the Russia hoax. They came up with the COVID hoax. They were willing and did crash the entire world economy to take out that one guy, President Donald J. Trump. And then they stole the election. President Joe Autopen Dementia Biden came up with 20 million votes, never seen before in a presidential election, never seen since. Just magic. And so for the last 4 years, we had Biden with 9% plus inflation, with tens of millions of illegal migrant third world invaders being welcomed over the border. We gave these people an app to invade our nation. Free housing, free food, free healthcare, free education for their children, free education for themselves, free social services, spending money. In the Democrats' massive effort to replace the American body politic with third world invaders. And how did Trump respond to that? That magnificent bastard. He won again. He won again, and he's back. That's what fighting looks like. And we need a lot more of that. Abbott quoting an Office of Attorney General opinion here, and I actually have the letter, so let's take a look at the letter itself. Nick Sorter, a great follow on X, breaking. Governor Greg Abbott, Texas, says he will remove from office any Democrats who abandon their duty and refuses to show up by 3 p.m. Central Time on August 4th. That's today. 3 p.m. Central Time today, folks. That's how it's done, Nick writes. Fire emoji. Democrats fled the state, attempting to block the vote on the new U.S. House map. Democrats hatched a deliberate, Abbott wrote, quote, Democrats hatched a deliberate plan not to show up for work for the specific purpose of abdicating the duties of their office and thwarting the chamber's business. And I would say thwarting democracy itself. That amounts to an abandonment or forfeiture of an elected state office. The derelict Democrat House members must return to Texas and be in attendance when the House convenes at 3 p.m. on Monday, August 4th. For any member who fails to do so, I will invoke Texas Attorney General opinion number Ken Paxton 0382 to remove the missing Democrats from membership in the State House. Let's see the actual letter here. Can I make it big enough for all of you to see? Whoops. No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like I can. All right. We can't really read it, can we? I should have saved it as a PDF. But the bottom paragraph here reads, in addition to abandoning their offices, the legislators may also have committed felonies. Many absentee Democrats are soliciting funds to evade the fines they will incur under House rules. Any Democrat who, quote, solicits, accepts, or agrees to accept such funds to assist in the violation of legislative duties or for purposes of skipping a vote may have violated bribery laws. Texas Penal Code, Section 36.02. The same can be true for any other person who offers, confers, or agrees to confer such funds to fleeing Democrat House members. Looking at you, Governor Pritzker. Maybe there'll be a warrant for your extradition back to Texas. Abbott says, I will use my full extradition, extradition authority to demand the return to Texas of any potential out-of-state members. Absolutely great stuff. And he posts this also, Greg Abbott, the governor. It seems to me the only way some of the fleeing Democrats can avoid bribery charges is to not break quorum. Come back and do your jobs. It seems that would eliminate any potential quid pro quo connected to any payment they received to deny a quorum and skip a vote. And of course, the quid pro quo is what makes it a bribe. Aaron Reitz writes, LFG, let's effing go, American flag. Notice how Ken Paxton's AG opinion provides the legal framework to pursue this bold and necessary action. Notice further the date of the opinion, August 2021. So 4 years ago, exactly 4 years ago, when Aaron Reitz was deputy for legal strategy. Texas's next attorney general should be deeply familiar with being able to wage these kinds of fights. I guess Aaron Reitz has an interest in being the next Texas attorney general. That's what that tells me. And here's Attorney General Ken Paxton himself. I support the immediate arrest of those rogue lawmakers who fled their duties. These radical Democrats are spitting in the face of every Texan they swore to represent. This is cowardice and dereliction of duty, and they should face the full force of the law without apology. Well, let's see it, Paxton. I mean, those words are great. What are you actually doing? Everyone's tired of rhino words. Here's a Democrat. He writes, oh, it's been a glorious day of drinking MAGA tears over the Texas Dems fleeing democracy. I look forward to drinking more when the blue states redistrict them out of existence. Like they haven't already been doing that for years. Trump wants a gerrymandering war. Democrats will finish it. We'll see. We'll see. My response to him was, see you at 3 p.m. We'll see what the governor does at 3 o'clock today. And don't forget what the Democrats were prepared to do, have been prepared to do, have been doing. Again, in states like Massachusetts, a third of the state is Republican, not one congressional seat. In the state of Maryland, roughly a third of the state is Republican, not one congressional seat. Governor Gavin Newsom is threatening to gerrymander every Republican in California. About a third of the state votes Republican. They wouldn't have a single congressional seat. So the Democrats have been doing this kind of thing forever and more. Remember all the Democrats talking about packing the Supreme Court? Remember them talking about ending the Electoral College? Remember all their efforts, including in my home state of California, where the Secretary of State took Trump off the ballot. And Trump had to go to federal court to be put back on. This is how the Democrats fight. They put their fist in your teeth. They stomp your head into the street. And unless you want to lose, you better be prepared to fight back. And if you lose, it means the loss of America. Imagine how many more tens of millions of illegal migrant third world invaders would be swarming over our border today if Kamala Harris had been elected president. Imagine how high inflation would still be if Kamala Harris had been elected. We'd be back to the 9% plus of Biden. Imagine the horror.
Thanks for watching this highlight segment of our full-length Law of Self-Defense live stream. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to give us a like and subscribe for more expert analysis on politics, law, and how to be hard to convict. And to watch the full-length episode of this show, just click right here. Stay safe.